You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
What? Where am I?
Is it complete?
It is. His optic nerves have been sealed fully into the cranial cowl, allowing for complete pacification.
It's not me.
See that it does. I do not need this one going haywire on me like the last one. Cost me half the crew.
I hardly believe that had to do with my upgrades. Perhaps you got the right
Please,
awakening.
Holy Emperor.
I used the proper trigger word.
You did not.
Did too.
This is not me.
No, I did too. I said exactly what you told me to.
You did not.
Of course I did.
Of course you did not.
Enough. Wake it up.
As you wish.
This is good.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cultober. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Jerry.
And today we are covering the good works, the righteous works, the also cuddly works of the holy orders of the Emperor's Inquisition.
Oh, I feel comforted already.
Yes, my alma mater.
Yeah, it is.
It is,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Inquisitor Ben.
We are definitely not going to sing some of the
Hymn?
theme. Yeah, the hymn
Hymns?
of the
No, we're not.
No.
Okay.
Nobody wants to hear us sing. That's in a later episode.
Yeah. What?
But no, Jurassic Park theme.
We did sing before. You're right.
Yeah, it's only Christmas. Only during Christmas. But yeah, this is our first episode into the spooky season, although we have been ramping things up with the Cult of Lore ghost stories. I hope you guys have been enjoying that. That's another one of our stepping out on limbs and trying something a little new. So hopefully it's paid off. Obviously, we're recording this ahead of time.
Yeah. So we don't know yet.
Yay.
Yeah.
If it's a flop, don't worry. We're probably going to do it next year.
Right.
Because we love you.
We do.
And that's why you make us do this. But anyway, I'm going to cover the Inquisition as just kind of a general topic because that definitely deserves to be its own insulated topic. But for the spooky season, I wanted to dive into a little bit more of the horrific aspects. And so to do that, we have to kind of do like a macro view and then get into like a mini micro view.
Yeah.
So like this is going to be a little bit of a wonky episode, and there are going to be some things that I'll give you like a 30,000 foot overview, and then we'll just move on because it will be covered in the Inquisition episode.
Right.
But you will at least have a foundational understanding of what the Inquisition is and where they fit in the grand scheme of things,
All right.
according to one that has no biases whatsoever.
Exactly. No, of course not. No. We do try to stay as objective as possible when talking about these sort of things. Emperor bless us all.
Right.
Yeah.
So the single greatest thing to ever happen to humanity was established right about the time of the end of the Horus Heresy. So the Emperor was realizing that the Siege of Terra was winding to like its conclusion. And according to, spoiler alert, big spoiler alert if you haven't done the death in the end, the Emperor and Horus were playing kind of this 4D, 5D almost style chess moves where they were where it was like, aha, I knew you were going to do that. Aha, I knew you were going to do that. And so the Emperor kind of understood that the final plays were happening, and he gave Malcador not a final order, but really it was kind of his final order, I think. The rest of it seems to have been more established, like, hey, once these things happen, you do this, you do this, you do this. But this seems to be the last on the fly order, for the exception of maybe, and I'd have to go back and re-listen because, guys, it's been a while since I listened to the first one. But I think Malcador sitting on the Golden Throne was a Hail Mary. But I believe that was pre-planned after Magnus fell, because it was originally him that was supposed to sit on the throne.
Oh, okay. And the Hail Mary was Malcador.
Okay. So, the original plan, again, us on a divert? Never. Magnus, the whole thing for Magnus the Red before he became corrupted was he was supposed to sit on the Golden Throne that was going to allow the webway to function so that humanity no longer had to use warp travel. Magnus was so dedicated to psyker power that despite the fact that he would be locked physically on the Golden Throne, he would be completely free to wander the warp and the webway forever at his own leisure.
Oh, okay.
Learning whatever he wanted, experiencing whatever he could find out there. So that was going to be kind of his deal.
Okay. Oh, interesting. That's kind of a neat, irony. He's, locked in place on a chair, but free to explore as far and wide as he wants to roam.
Right. And he could also would be able to astral project onto our realm to the extent where he could physically interact. So
Nice.
it
was a good plan. Emperor be praised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a good deal.
Yeah.
One-eyed fucker.
I know.
What an idiot.
It's the next step.
It was.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gave Malcador an order that he wanted to find 8 individuals of inquisitive nature.
Oh.
And Malcador brought to him 8 Space Marines and 8 humans.
Oh.
The Space Marines, which I believe, no, not all of them, but I believe most of the 8 have been revealed as to who they were.
Okay.
But again, we'll save that for the actual Inquisition episode. And also some of that is a large chunk of the Malcador episode because we'll probably back-to-back those.
Ooh, okay.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Don't hold me. Whenever I say we might do this or we're probably going to do that, do not hold me to that. Our episodes change all the time.
I'm sure the regulars know already.
They do, but we got a few people from me shitting on Space Marine too, so there's some new people.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks for not hating me. No, I'm not. Never mind. Anyway, so the 4 Space Marines went off to become Grey Knights, and the 4 humans went off to establish the Inquisition.
Okay, wait, was it 4 or 8? Or was it 8 total people?
I think it was 8 total.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So 4
Fuck,
4.
now I'm going to have to look that up.
Hold, please.
And we're back. So the answer is yes and yes. It's 12 people in total with 8 Astartes and 4 humans.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Split the difference there.
So yeah, the answer to that question was yes. So this established with the Inquisition was established to be a hidden order that had basically answered to no one. It had supreme authority. It answered to the Emperor. Some people will say the High Lords of Terra, but I don't actually think that's accurate.
Okay.
I don't believe they answer to actually any individual. I think they basically rock the Custodes privilege.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get in. It's not quite as simple as all that.
Gotcha.
We'll get into the kind of the politics behind it. So when the Inquisition started off, which was, right after the Emperor was interned on the Golden Throne, Malcador was passed away. So they kind of took over this role of the hidden police. Not like the one you're thinking about. No, those guys are bad. These guys are the good secret police.
Right.
They were doing the right thing. The other guys, the guys you were thinking about, the ones that have the repetitive letters, they were doing the bad thing. They see 2 letters bad, 1 letter, which is an I. That's good.
Yeah.
2 letters bad. So they were operating as a single unit. It was a lot more of a cohesive thing until the War of the Beast erupted, which if you don't know what that is, go back to listen to our Imperial history. We cover that.
Yeah, we do.
Man, that's another thing we kind of fucked up on our Space Marine 2 review. Knowing that there was going to be a lot of people new to the lore, we definitely should have plugged those Imperial history videos.
You're so right. You're so right.
Because we did have some comments about hey, I'm new to the lore. Where should we go? And I am super hesitant to be go to our channel, blah, blah, blah. Because as you just experienced, we're amateurs.
Right. Where are students learning this with you along the way?
Yeah, we are not lore masters.
Yeah.
So like when somebody's like, would you recommend your channel for beginners? I'm like, we do structure it that way, but good luck.
Yeah. That comes with what it comes with.
It does. It comes with having us as your teachers.
Nobody's perfect.
The Emperor
Except
is
the
perfect.
Emperor.
Except the
Yeah.
Emperor.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Careful.
Be praised.
Yeah.
Emperor be praised.
Anyway, the War of the Beast necessitated that the Inquisition split itself into two different ordos. That was the Ordo Xenos and the Ordos Malleus.
Oh, okay.
The Ordo Xenos obviously was dedicated specifically to handling the threats of the aliens,
Right.
while the Ordo Malleus was directed towards demons and the warp.
Okay.
Um,
So those were the first two ordos.
yes, they
Okay.
were the first two to split off from the Inquisition as a whole.
Okay.
The Ordo Malleus is the teacher's pet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, listen, I like them well enough. They slay demons and it's all good, but they're a little goody two shoes. The Inquisition gets a bad rap for going after civilians and citizens and people that won't profligate themselves to the Emperor hard enough, which is not the same as committing heresy.
I see. Okay.
And I admit there was a little of that. You know, your family's got bad cousins too. You know, everybody's got that uncle they don't talk to. So there is a little bit of like, you know, some people go up and fire when they shouldn't. And some people are committed to Penitent Engines and Arco-Flagellants when maybe, you know, a talking to would have done, but it's whatever, you know, it's a large job.
Yeah, it is a large job and they're doing the best they can.
Right. But the Malleus is, you know, for all the fuck ups, they actually steer clear of this a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
Because the threats they go after is, you know, if you're possessed by a demon or if you're a chaos marine or if you're so far into the cult, a chaos cult that you're going into like the Ordo Malleus territory, it's pretty clear.
Right.
You're not going to be able, you're not going to be able to like slough it off as you didn't bathe this week. You know, a follower of Nurgle that's so deep in the Inquisition notices them is going to have some deformities.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
The Ordo Xenos, obviously,
Right.
especially with the introduction of the Tyranids, I imagine that occupies,
Oh, yeah. A large portion of their time and resources, huh?
I believe, Kryptman,
Oh,
famous, well-meaning,
Yes.
but mistaken member of the Ordo Xenos who caused the Octaris War, you know, which
Oh,
was
right.
unfortunate.
yeah. That was an unfortunate side effect.
We covered the Octaris War in our Imperium history episodes.
Do not in depth.
Not in
though.
depth.
No, we have to do an in-depth episode on that. in
And
the
that's
future.
actually coming up because the ending, it is over.
They finished. They concluded it.
They did.
It's over.
The Tyranids won.
What?
They took the Octaris sector, which we believe is why we're seeing the Norn Emissary, which is a new class of Tyranid, which is actually an emissary is, you know, they go out and like,
Right. Like negotiate and bring terms and wait, no. They
yeah,
kind of herald the coming. No.
yeah, but they also
Okay.
negotiate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They're
what
political figures.
what that actually means for the Tyranids, we'll find out, I guess.
Holy shit. Ah, that sucks.
And
That
anyway,
sucks.
shortly after that came the Ordo Hereticus, which is, you know, my alma mater.
Right.
And
Yes.
we go after the heretics. There's the Xenos, the Witch, and the heretics, and we go after the heretics rather than the Witch and the Xenos.
Right.
And honestly, this I'm not too proud to say this. Where we've slacked is we are also the ones that are in charge of keeping the ecclesiarchy in check.
Ah, yes.
And
Right.
man, has that been woefully underserved. Whoops.
Well, you know, nobody's perfect, right?
No, I mean-
right, Jerry? You
Thoughts
know.
and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Right, but
Yeah.
but
Every-
I do think that the Inquisition needs to start
Self-cleaning.
taking a closer look at some of these holier than thous, because I find that the biggest heretics often cry holy the loudest.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point.
Overcompensating.
Right. Yeah.
But the Ordo Hereticus obviously goes after cult and people that the reason why they are the most feared of the three original Ordos is because they go after the internal politicians.
Mhm.
if you were looking at like regular police terms, it would be like internal affairs.
Okay.
They're the watchers of the watchmen,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
lends itself to a lot of people that are paranoid by nature, overly so, which leads into like a lot of,
Finding problems where
there
there
probably aren't
problems.
necessarily problems, or
Right.
problems that are overly corrected,
Right. Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah. Oh.
But those three are known as the Ordo Majoris. Now, there is no oversight of the Inquisition. There's no like council that they answer to, and even these Ordos are not hard schools.
Okay.
You can very easily see how one would go from the Ordo Hereticus to the Ordo Malleus.
Yes.
If you're dealing with cults and heretics, it makes sense that you would go like you start off on the small levels, and so you're like, oh, I'm a hereticus because I'm dealing with these cults. But then when you start climbing the ladder and you're getting to these guys that are actually like possessed by demons,
Yeah.
and you start learning more and combating that, you would go more into the Ordo Malleus.
Right.
And I mean, people wave in and out like during a surge of Tyranid invasions, you'll see the Ordo Xenos swell in its ranks. And really what a lot of what this does is it solidifies a lot of the language for the Inquisition, because it's so large and it's so bloated with bureaucracy. Any shorthand you can get in your terminology is going to help. So you can walk up to somebody who is another Inquisitor or is in the know of these things, and you'll say, I'm Ordo Xenos, and they know that you specialize, at least right now, in aliens, and you have access to the specific troops that are called the Death Watch. Now, the Death Watch are sometimes volunteers, sometimes it's a penance, sometimes it's a promotion. Depends on how the Legion and chapter looks at it. Well, they would be chapters now because they don't exist in legions, except for like the Imperial Fist, or not the Imperial Fist, the the Black Templars, but also the Ultramarines looking at you, Gilliman. But they send them to the Inquisition, and they dress in all black armor, except for on one arm they have the eye for the Inquisition, and I believe they can rock the heraldry of their chapter if they wish.
Okay.
Because some of them go to the Death Watch as, like I said, penance or to be like banished.
Okay.
I believe recently there have been a few that have just absconded from this. Like the Space Wolves, I believe, are currently into a pretty decent scrap with the Inquisition as a whole. And the thing is one of the things is like, if you were an Inquisitor, you can have any opinion on anything involving the Inquisition that you want.
Right.
There are ones that believe that the Emperor is a Xenos and that you can resurrect him using technology. And they cannot be held into account for their beliefs, for the exception of other Inquisitors, and so that leads into civil wars, but they can't be pressed by other people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like even a general or fleet admiral or something has to just be like, okay, sure.
Yes, technically. But okay, now here's where we start getting into the politics of things. Okay. Just because an Inquisitor on paper can throw weight around and order practically any part of the Imperium to do anything they want, doing so is not a good idea. For instance, like I said, you can wind up in a spat with another Inquisitor who can call in just as much resources as you do. Well, if you go around spouting your fanatical beliefs to everybody, there's a more likelihood that it's going to make it back to another Inquisitor who can then challenge you on it.
Okay.
So there are consequences to that.
Yeah. Another thing is you don't want to go in big dick swinging, ordering the Mechanicus around.
Yeah.
They do have to listen to you, but that's not going to go well. They can screw you in a number of non-technical ways, right?
Yeah.
So like if you call in for their aid, they have to give you aid. They don't have to give you exactly what you ask for, though. Like, just because you say, I want 40 Titans, doesn't mean that they go, well, we have to pull 40 Titans from some other place. They can give you the equivalent of 40 Titans in backup, but it can be all dysfunctional fucking servitors with, forks and spoons.
Yeah. Or just send you the parts and say, all right, assemble them yourself.
Some assembly required.
Yeah.
Batteries not
Fuck
included.
you. Ooh,
There's-
I like that. Yeah, don't fuck with
You got 'em,
the Mechanicus.
technically.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
And this can manifest in all number of like just ham-fisted ways. If an Inquisitor really feels like he or she is just going to exert their authority willy-nilly.
Right.
So one of the myths I would like to dispel is that they can just take over a scenario at whim at any time. They can technically. You're going to be you're not going to find a lot of times that actually happens.
Right.
Most of the time, what you're going to find is the Inquisitor has agents that's working for them inside of the system, and they're doing it very, very, very quietly.
Keeping it subtle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that you have direct information and evidence to be able to charge somebody with what you want.
I get you.
Because, I mean, sure, you can do baseless accusations if you want, especially if you're like the low-hanging fruit and you're just going after the crowds.
Right.
But if you really want to affect change, you have to be careful, even though you don't technically have to. There's there's two worlds at play here.
There's the rules and then there's reality.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
And there's other things you have to take into account. Like, I mean, it's such a large moving ship. So like, say you really do need to call in some heavy firepower. That shit takes time. It's not like, the Imperium, the way they pass messages through the warp, it's not instantaneous, and it's not like Star Trek or Star Wars where they get the message and then they just light speed their asses in there.
Mm.
So like, if you've pissed off somebody who's relaying one of your phone calls, well, maybe they're just not so fucking quick to relay it.
Yeah.
And they're going to relay it because they can't not, because you are an Inquisitor.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
if it takes a week, it takes a week.
yeah. Or if it gets lost in the warp, it gets lost in the warp.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No need to try again.
No.
So they have to mind their manners.
They should.
Right. If they're smart.
If they're smart, they will.
Which a lot of them, I mean, I feel like you have to be pretty smart to get to that position where you technically don't have to answer to anybody.
That's true, but psychopathy can really take over.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
And sociopath, like,
yeah.
Get
power hungry.
Delusions of grandeur. Like what Kryptman did, that was a delusion. The idea that he was going to throw the orcs and the Tyranids at each other and that they were going to wipe each other out, that's delusional thinking.
Right.
He should have known better.
Yeah, and he would be one who possessed the knowledge to know better. Yeah.
But
he knew the orcs, he knew the Tyranids, or at least the Imperium knew the orcs, and he knew the Tyranids. Yeah. Like that information was readily available to him. What the kind of risks were. These two species. Yeah.
Reckless. If I had to like speak on his behalf, I would say that perhaps he didn't understand quite the lengths of which the hive fleets go. Where it's like, he had hive fleet, I believe it was Behemoth to start with. He had no way of knowing that they'd escalate to Kraken and then Jormungandr and then, Leviathan and
so forth and so on.
So that being said, stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. Now, the flip side of that coin, Inquisitors can absolutely assert authority into any situation that they find themselves in. They can command the largest armies that, like, if they show up on a planet and it's a full, like, a gene stealer cult takeover, they can exterminate that planet, or they can call in chapters worth of Space Marines, Imperial Navy, whatever they actually deem necessary. And I actually believe there's specific codes that they can launch where it's like, listen, this isn't, even by inquisitional standards, this is not a request.
Okay. Yeah. Like this overrides fucking everything else.
Yeah. This is like an Armageddon level.
I'm not asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that actually sends out an alert to other high level.
Oh, okay. Like
the
figures.
Grey Knights and things like that.
Yeah.
Although, if the Grey Knights show up, everybody's fucked.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You don't get to witness Grey Knights.
Oh.
They're a secret.
Yeah. So if the Grey Knights show up on your battlefield, you're going to be exterminatus.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. The Grey who? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we haven't seen them. They're just a rumor.
Right. Emperor be praised.
But if you do see them, you're blinded by the light.
Yes. Oh, I see. Yeah. If you've seen them, No, you didn't.
Now,
Yeah.
now another thing is the Inquisition works hand in hand with the ecclesiarchy, as we said, which is the kind of priest class of the Imperium. Because the Imperium is kind of structured as a religious government, so you have the governmental side and you have the religious side. Although they're not even that fucking
Right. There isn't really a separation of church and state.
no,
in this case.
but there is separate labels.
Right.
So you can have an ecclesiarch who is like a Catholic. You can have like a cardinal, like a cardinal of the Catholic Church, who is also the governor of
Mhm.
Wisconsin
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the president of the United States. Like these two things aren't mutually exclusive,
Right.
and they can even become inquisitors
Oh, okay. Yeah.
through promotion. If basically the way to become an inquisitor is to get the eye of another inquisitor,
Oh, okay. They can. I see.
and then there are official steps
Yeah.
to becoming an inquisitor, but ultimately it's left to the teacher
Right.
how they go about it and what steps you are required. And then they pass what's called the Rosetta down to you, which is that. It's
Interesting.
the mark of the Inquisitor. It's the eye, which also is like an official seal that opens doors if they're sealed by the Inquisition. Also is a symbol to other people that
Yeah.
you are it's your badge of office.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey everyone, Future Ben here. So, upon further review, I was not entirely happy with my presentation. I felt that it lacked some specific knowledge about my own alma mater, which is borderline heretical. And also, I feel like I failed to tie it into the overall episode. So, rather than torture the other two, making them represent their stuff, you guys get to listen to me for a second for Story Hour. The Honorable Ordo Hereticus was founded at the second half of the 36th millennium as a reaction to the Age of Apostasy. Now, if you want a fuller, in-depth look of the Age of Apostasy and how that went down, you can look at our Imperial Appreciation Episode 2, I believe is where we covered that. But the 30,000-foot overview of the Age of Apostasy is this. A man by the name of Gorge Van Dyer ended up taking control of the ecclesiarchy and the High Lords of Terra. Through plots, plans, and assassinations, he killed the man that was originally supposed to take like the high throne. He took it, became pretty tyrannical. His whole rule ended up becoming known as the Reign of Blood, just to give you an idea. So upon his collapse, two things occurred. The Sisters of Battle were created, or the Adeptus Sororitas, actually, specifically. The whole thing was created. It was kind of founded while he was around, but that was more like what the Thunder Warriors were to the Space Marines. These ladies were to the Sisters, to the Adeptus Sororitas, although I believe they were still called the Sororitas at the time. So after his topple, the Inquisition decided that there needed to be an Ordos directed to safeguard the Imperium from internal threats, the mutant, the witch, the heretic, and the treasonous. And so the Ordo Hereticus was founded. They are the largest of the major Ordos, and they are also the most feared because they are the ones specifically designed to deal with interior threats. Their chambers militant, in other words, the special troops that they have access to, are the Sisters of Battle, which are the specific militarized version of the Adeptus Sororitas. The Adeptus Sororitas also contains the Hospitallers, which are exactly what it sounds like. Also nuns that just specifically pray and are religious figures. We'll get into them when we cover our Adeptus Sororitas, probably during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Why not? They also have access to the Fraternus Militia, which is the really, really, really shady military of the ecclesiarchy. Now, what do I mean by shady? They are not officially a militant. They do not officially exist inside of the structure of the Imperium. Officially, they are just really, really devout citizens that have loaned their bodies to whatever war the ecclesiarchy has decided to launch. Now, through their combined control of the Adeptus Sororitas, well, actually the Sisters of Battle, although they're Inquisitors, so, we can control what we want, but we covered that, before. It's not a wise idea to just start ordering entire adepta around. But the Fraternus militia is where they get access to things like the Penitent Engines, the Arco-Flagellants, I think, in particular, come from the Fraternus militia. The Penitent Engines come more from the Sisters of Battle themselves, but it all kind of culminates into the Ordo Hereticus really being the ones that kind of lead these into battle. We are also in charge of keeping track of the holy wars of the ecclesiarchy, I guess is a good way of putting it. Whenever any member of the ecclesiarchy is capable of launching a war against a heretical force where they find it, because the Imperium is so large, you really need people that are capable of calling a fighting force together everywhere. And what this results is a lot of people that you wouldn't think being able to call up armies. And then, as you would expect, what this leads into is a bunch of people claiming to lead wars on behalf of the Imperium that just aren't. And so this is another charge of the Ordo Hereticus. It's not just to keep the ecclesiarchy in check, but the holy wars that it starts. Now, back to your regular presentation. Thanks for Story Hour. So with that comes a lot of really terrible punishments.
Ooh.
As well.
Yay.
Which is really the spooky stuff that we're here to get into. Mine is just to preamble this stuff.
Yeah.
And I did the assigning on this particular episode. I found the two worst punishments that I think you can endure in the Imperium.
Yep.
Obviously, this is just opinion.
Right.
Let us know what you guys think are the worst punishments that you can receive in the Imperium.
Yeah.
And Eric and Jerry, I'll be interested to see if you guys agree, disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who wants to go first?
Oh, Jerry, by all means.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Jerry's going first.
I will go.
So you had the
Arco-Flagellants.
The Arco-Flagellants.
Yes.
Fun stuff.
And it is a punishment, but it's also a redemption.
See, everything the Inquisition and often the ecclesiarchy, although not often, not always, has a benefit to it.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So Arco-Flagellants is a sentence passed down to heretics who are not being exterminated. Like they've done a minor enough offense that they're not being outright killed for what they've done. They can still serve the emperor in some way.
So yeah, they're not completely corrupted. There's a spark of humanity left in there.
Okay, so it wasn't bad enough to be executed over.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, interesting. Yeah.
And the goal of it is to physically expunge sin so that they can strengthen the empire or emperor when they die.
I see. So their soul goes to him.
Yes.
Good.
Purified.
Exactly.
Oh, this is beautiful.
We can hope for as much.
Yeah.
And the physical part of it is done by the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you're going to customize your ride, you want the best mechanics to do it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What happens to the Arco-Flagellant is they undergo extensive physical surgery and psychological reconditioning.
Okay.
No, reconditioning is tight.
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard his voice and that just in my brain as clear as day, and it just wouldn't stay in there.
So this physically turns them into like berserkers.
Okay.
They become these berserking shock troops.
All right.
They get implanted with weapons like cutting claws and pneumatics, which are like gas-powered axes.
Nice.
I had to kind of do some piecing together to figure out what that was.
Sure.
In my research, I was unable to find like a picture of it or what it was. But
Gotcha.
A mattox is like a pickaxe with like a vertical and a horizontal axe on each side.
Oh, okay. Pictured here. Yes.
Yeah. And
good luck. Oh, I thought
Just
you meant
the tool,
the
not
tool
the
itself.
Yeah, not the no. It's
And
okay,
then-
future Eric.
And new, I know in Latin it means like to breathe or something. It's like air and gas.
Okay. Oh yeah. So gas powered.
Yeah.
Well done.
So
Look
like
at him go.
piston driven.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a piston-driven axe.
Nice. Okay. Well done.
And then the coolest thing I saw that they had were like electroflails.
Okay.
So these are cool. These are like long whips with like cat and nine tails at the end, and they're electrified.
Yeah, and they're made out of like high tension cables.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They have, I guess, a short range, but like they can do a lot of damage when they're used.
Okay.
And I've seen 2 models of these. One where they graft them onto like the end of the hand, so it's almost like their fingers become these, and then the other one is where they chop them off almost at like the elbow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
Your both of your arms are definitely going to be cut off and turned into weapons.
Nice. Okay, gotcha.
The next thing they do is they will fit you with a sealed pacifier helm.
Okay. A sealed pacifier helm.
Which means it completely encompasses your nose and face.
Okay.
So none of your facial features are seen.
Now, I have seen some images of like where their jaw is still out.
Yes, I have too.
But it connects to the cerebrum and spinal cord, and it keeps them in a calm, barely conscious state.
Huh.
Their mind is filled with sacred images and verses and hymns and prayers. Like they're just being sort of like hypnotized by this thing
Okay.
with like
holiness.
Yes,
and,
holiness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, I play that on my like to go to sleep machine, so I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that white noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a baby.
It's turned off by a trigger word, and when it's triggered off, that's when they unleash their fury.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're
kept calm and
They're-
pacified until it's time for
Yeah.
battle, and then
once that's off, they get stemmed with
Ooh.
combat drugs
That's the good stuff.
and painkillers.
Right into the spine.
Yeah.
They get
Um,
painkillers too.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want them to feel shit.
Nice. Okay.
You don't want a
Okay.
berserker that can feel pain.
No, this is what makes them unstoppable. It's just they don't feel anything, and they're just angry, and they're slashing around with their chemicals
Flails.
and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And they go for anyone they see that's not marked friendly. Like they have a handler, and the handler designates friendlies on the battlefield.
Huh.
So that means they kill enemies, but they also kill innocent bystanders if they're just in the range of their fury.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right.
Some of the spine chemicals that they put in there are barrage, frenzon, slot, and spur. Like all those things just do things to you, like in
They-
battle.
I haven't heard
Meth.
of the chemicals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
okay.
all meth.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that can be turned off by a trigger word as well.
Okay. From the handler, probably. I'm presuming at
Yes.
this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Some of the trigger words were like expultate and stuff, like sort of like higher words you wouldn't really hear normally in your
Yeah.
day-to-day speech.
Like you don't want it to be like the word heretic or
Yeah.
anything like that. You want it to be like rutabaga.
Yeah.
Something off the wall, like
Yeah. Okay. Roger Rabbit.
shave and a haircut.
2 bits. That's got to be the shutdown.
Back to your blissful worship internally, you
Yes, back into
Holy fuck! And then they just go insane.
right. They're mostly used in suicide attack units because they're there to repent.
Right. Yeah. Often that's what you do to repent. Yeah. Is die in service of the emperor. Yeah.
They can be requested by Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Usually, if the Inquisitor has some very like bloody business to do.
The cleaning out of a hive gang or
Okay.
Yeah, because these things are not subtle weapons.
no, they're used for cleaning out like I said, hive gangs or gene stealer cults. Hulks. You can use them for hulks, although often the Death Watch does that. But I mean, if you've got like a Hulk, a space Hulk that's overrun with gene stealers, why waste all your Death Watch troops
Right.
when you can send a fucking herd of these things in first? Just let them duke it out.
Okay.
Yeah, they can be unleashed in packs.
Cool.
So
Okay.
like, just like
Yep.
a group of them flailing around,
Flailing around.
attacking anything that they can see.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
might be a madman, but you know what I'd love to see? Well, fuck it. I'd love to see. It's kind of hard to say you'd love to see something go through that,
I
but
see. Yeah.
but imagine doing that to an Ogren.
Oh, what?
Oh. Making an arco-flagellant Ogren.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that fight some of the smaller Titans.
I
That'd
mean,
be fun.
That'd be more like a knight, maybe.
Yeah.
okay. Jeez, though. Just that big brute of a thing just flailing around.
Then you're stemming it with those chemicals.
Yeah. Holy crap. But they're already so aggressive
And strong.
and strong
And
and
they
aggressive.
can take Just take a shit ton of damage.
Oh,
Just like a Beyblade across the battlefield.
Yeah, that's wild. A wild thought.
Arco-Flagellants that survive multiple battles are called the Endurant.
Oh, because they have endured multiple battles? All right.
And that earns them a measure of redemption. So, like, they then fight with greater ferocity. And they're more efficient troops after they've survived a couple battles.
Yeah, because they pump them with harder drugs.
They're indoctrinated even more.
Even further from all the hypnosis. Yeah.
You know, well, yeah, but you know what the thing? You know what the thing is? That implies a level of consciousness,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does. They're
memory, and calm.
Yeah, like you can't redeem them if they're not aware of it.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, yes and no. There's a level of consciousness that you can do where they're not aware of their previous battles.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But in this case,
We do
they
that
are
with-
allowing them with their to keep.
Yeah,
remembering.
because okay, so we haven't gotten into assassins, but there is a berserker class of assassin called the Evisar, and I don't believe they're actually fully aware of their previous missions.
Okay. For like the sake of secrecy, probably. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it's like their own mental,
Oh, their own mental well-being,
because they're just insane.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So the need for them to learn and remember that is not as necessary as
Right.
them
So,
able to keep their
yeah,
shit
they
together.
just directly
Okay.
program the mission right into their brain and then thaw them out.
Oh, jeez. Okay, gotcha.
Because anything less, and they just go
Ape shit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they're even more the Arco-Flagellants are more conscious than the Evisar assassins on some level.
That's wild.
Whew.
Holy shit.
The next thing is there's a higher order of the Arco-Flagellants, which are the Seraphs.
Okay.
You know about the Seraphs?
No.
These guys are interesting. They're made from rare individuals possessing the pariah gene.
I don't know what that is. What's the pariah?
The pariah gene is only in humans. It's a negative psychic field. So like it's anti-warp cancellation.
Oh.
Like if they're in the warp, they create kind of like a black hole void effect.
Around themselves.
Yeah.
They're like a blank.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Pariah. It's
Yeah.
a pariah gene. Okay.
Yes.
They don't have souls.
Yeah.
They're soulless people walking around?
I mean, more or less.
I guess that is what that would mean, isn't it?
And in the materium, in the regular, it creates like an anti-psychic field around them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have to have that suppressed by a null limiter as well as their like helm.
Okay. A null limiter.
Yes. They serve as bodyguards and weapons for the Inquisition. They're clad in red robes woven with sacred names. And they're infused with like wording circuits and symbols and words of like dead tongues.
Oh my gosh.
Like English.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
No,
Yeah.
they speak English. Well, it's just called High
Lo-
Gothic and Low Gothic.
High Gothic and Low Gothic, yeah.
Next up is the Penitent Engine.
Oh, yes. Okay. So it's funny when it comes to the Penitent Engine where they are similar and dissimilar from the Arco-Flagellants. So a Penitent Engine, you become one by you're a heretic that has committed a crime that is so bad that execution just won't do.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the other
It's
side.
the other
Oh,
side of
okay.
it. Yeah. So
side of the pendulum here.
yeah, so that's why I was like, wait, those guys are for if they didn't do it bad enough? Oh shit, guys.
Oh no.
So a Penitent Engine
So you're really aiming for the sweet spot of execution.
yeah, yeah, I know. It's such a precise little, little target that you gotta
That
hit
came
there.
in a lot of my research was like, you really just want to be executed.
Yeah, because you've just been so bad. But
You don't want to be that bad.
Yeah.
That they're like, well, we got to make an example out of your ass.
but
Yeah.
at the same time, you don't want to not be bad enough, I guess, because shit. So, okay, right quick, what is a Penitent Engine? They are a bipedal combat walker that is utilized by the Ecclesiarchy and the Sisters of Battle. It's very much like a dreadnought. They use dreadnought class melee weapons, right? Like saws and chain fists.
They don't.
Big old flamers.
They have flamers, but I don't believe they use
nothing long ranged.
Right. With dreadnoughts, you'll see like bolters and
and so you won't have they're very strictly like melee level.
They need to be in the heat of battle.
Exactly. And also very unlike dreadnoughts. This is a very distinguishing feature of them. The heretic is hardwired onto the front of the battle walker, fully exposed to the battle around them.
Yeah, there's no
protection whatsoever. No sarcophagus. They are often chained in like a crucified sort of position. So I've seen some where their arms are down. It doesn't matter. They're strapped to the front of this thing. The heretic has all these implants in them, especially along the spine, so that they can be plugged into this war machine to control it. They're given complete control over it, and to also just chemically pump their bodies and minds full of chemicals that induce a frantic need to be redeemed. They are off, like the word frantic, when I was reading about these guys just came up so much. They are desperate to be redeemed because in their off time, in their downtime, where the Arco-Flagellants would be blissfully bathed in just hymns and
the gentle light of the
Emperor. It sounds really nice. These guys are just pumped full of hallucinogens and chemicals that induce a deep self-loathing and sense of guilt constantly, along with pain too, but they feel like they deserve it.
Yep.
That's their downtime.
They're also bombarded. So they have a mechanical visor put over their eyes, and they're bombarded with visions of their own sin.
Oh,
yeah.
Self-hatred is a big factor in the Penitent Engines.
Yes, that's probably the biggest part of it, because once they get unleashed on battle, again, this is why they're so frantic. They're desperate to charge in and die fighting. Unfortunately, the chemical stimulants and concoction and stuff that's going through their bodies during a battle keeps them alive through injuries that would absolutely kill somebody else for much longer. It takes a lot to kill that fully exposed person strapped to the front of this thing, but in no way is their pain dulled by these chemicals. They are to feel every bit of it.
Oh, shit.
Yes. This is a wonderful way to get redeemed as a heretic. The Emperor in his wisdom has really helped guide the ecclesiarchy and the Sisters of Battle through this.
When they're unleashed on the battle, what they see, the visor that they're put under puts their own face on top of their enemies.
It is true. I only came across that once, so I was going to mention that. Okay, good. Okay.
And so what they're tearing into
is themselves.
What?
That's how much guilt they feel and how much they hate their own selves and are desperate to just kill themselves in service of the Emperor.
Yeah, but
because they still need to be useful.
But they are so heretical that they need to be taken out.
This is what it takes. Yeah. So oftentimes, the people that commit heresies of this level are people who were seen as pious. So members of the ecclesiarchy, priests and stuff, they will often become penitent engines if they have committed a heresy. Sisters of Battle, very same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Heresies, crimes that are deserving of execution or beyond, they will get strapped into these puppies and become penitent engines. As a matter of fact, Sisters of Battle, they consider it their sacred duty to witness penitent engines in battle to bear witness to their atonement.
They often, that's why they often let them open up the battle so that the sisters can stand by and watch the opening salvo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's their sacred duty to do so.
And what's more is you can volunteer your ass into one.
Yes, you can. If you feel just your own sense of guilt just as a pious figure. So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure spiritually on these folks, Sisters of Battle, people of the ecclesiarchy. So if they have committed a wrong and they don't, Ben pointed this out, if they don't get caught for it, they can sometimes be driven by their own guilt to volunteer for this.
Wow.
In order to atone and to redeem themselves.
So that would be a lot of faith.
Good Lord, yes, I know. Boy, you
I
would have
would-
to absolutely. Man, that is.
You are clean in my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Honestly, just by signing up.
Like,
Yeah.
one of the things that I found that kind of makes them creepier is if you can imagine these things moving across the battlefield, they are like fuel rans. So they have a lot of them have these giant smokestacks that just pour out black smoke.
Ugh.
And they're these big iron constructions, and they're actually stimulated by pain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So if you can imagine, the plugins are like electrocuting and torturing this person. And as the nerves of this person are firing with pain, that's what's giving this machine movement. So it's not some fluid walking. It's this janky, jerky,
Frantic and spasmy sorta.
movements as they're being,
Yeah. Shot up. Like, I imagine that it just gets to the point where you just see somebody with like entrails hanging out of their stomach and their fucking arm isn't attached anymore.
I imagine-
and they're just screaming for more.
Oh, I imagine there's
Yeah.
some where they're cut in half and they're swinging there by their arms and they're
Just-
still going.
Yeah. Just dripping, and the chemicals are coagulating them enough to keep them
Keep 'em alive,
alive.
yep.
Yeah. Because the chemicals and the hallucinations to me are the worst part, because it just keeps you going and desperate for more of it, and it doesn't spare you an ounce of pain from it. No. Now it does. There are other steps. I wish I would have written the name down, because if you're a sister of battle and you run from battle, then you get this, but a step up, and I can't remember the name of it.
Is it Repentia?
No, it started with an M. But they're bound in a place where, we better look it up since I brought it up.
But go ahead and continue.
But they're bound in a way that they can't move or scream, and they get a concoction that actually enhances the pain that they feel.
So they're in like locked in syndrome and feeling it.
Yeah, and feeling it worse than even a penitent engine would. So they're they're one of those real bad steps. Like, I guess as a sister of battle, you do not run from battle.
And like in battle, you would see that face just wide-eyed, like unmoving, but like in terror. Like, hanging on the front of a big machine.
Yep. Yeah, these would be almost as horrifying to come up against.
A mortifier.
Mortifier, that was it. Thank you so much. A mortifier. So they're kind of the step up in atrociousness.
And not just that, but a mortifier is actually, so now that I took a look at it, I actually remember.
Okay.
So another key difference between a penitent engine and a mortifier is the mortifier does have an armored sarcophagus.
Oh, that is an armored? Okay, the way they're bound is kind of, it looked like they were covered. Okay.
They are, because on the inside is also like a Iron Maiden with it's torturing them.
Spikies. Okay.
It's torturing them while providing armor that prolongs the fight so they can stay in it even longer than a penitent engine would.
Yeah,
So it's
okay.
like controlled torture rather than the chaos of the battlefield.
Right.
Yeah, but then eventually, eventually once the enemy gets through the tortured armored sarcophagus, then you're a penitent engine. So now you've started your service as a penitent engine after they've gotten through your armor.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like a
pan.
Yeah, so it's like a 2-tiered system.
Aren't they so efficient?
Well,
They really are.
I'll tell you what it is. It is fantastic that they offer different levels of redemption rather than just saying there's somebody that's unredeemable.
Yeah, nobody is truly irredeemable in the eyes of the Emperor.
This is the same as like a delivery service is like, well, now we'll deliver it on a helicopter in a pillow.
Yeah.
It's a
You're
step
right.
up.
It
Say,
is a
well,
step
you
up.
don't deserve you don't deserve this. You don't.
Yeah.
But we're gonna allow you redemption anyway. And I think it's fantastic. So happy Halloween.
I really do too. Yeah. Happy Halloween and happy Cultober. I
Yeah.
mean,
What do you think, Jerry? Jerry just over there goes, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I would pick whatever redeems me the best in the Emperor's eyes.
I think that's a good answer. I think that's a real good answer, Jerry.
I'd pick if that didn't matter.
Which one's that?
The one that at least sometimes you have a power down.
Yeah, there's a little bit of peace involved.
Yeah.
And you can die.
I know. I'm with you. Like if I were to choose, which of course what I think, feel, and do is nothing compared to the Emperor's wisdom. but I do think I would pick the Arco-Flagellants over a Penitent Engine. You know.
I'm not going to falter in my service or need redeeming. Emperor be praised.
Yeah, that's the real answer
Good
right
job.
there.
Good
job,
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor.
Well done.
Nope, I'm not even
Yeah.
going down that road.
No, you stay righteous, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even a question.
Nope. Nobody questions Ben's commitment.
Mhm.
My loyalty to the Emperor.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
All right,
Wonderful.
guys, this was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, but we're having fun here in the Cultober, so it's all right.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Does anybody got any closing thoughts?
Jerry?
Another thing I think I forgot to mention was when they were battling with the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
The
The
Sisters
Adeptus Sororitas?
Yes. The Sisters of Battles would prefer to not be near them while they're battling.
Oh,
They would
interesting.
prefer to see them from far away.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are still unclean, right? They aren't
Right.
redeemed until they're dead.
Like to add that, again, reiterate that like everyone is redeemable. And I think that's,
If
Great.
they're willing to take the proper steps, absolutely.
there's always a pathway to redemption. That's beautiful.
It is. All right, Eric, take us out of here.
All right. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. What would you choose out of all of the ways to cleanse your soul for the Emperor? And also, if you like this kind of episode, me, Ben, Jerry talking, we've got some other episodes focusing on Cult of Lore. I mean, that's us. We're Cult of Lore, focusing on
We
Warhammer.
do focus on that, yeah.
We do every time.
Absolutely.
We focus on other aspects of Warhammer. We have a laundry list of episodes for you to check out if you're interested. I meant to write this down to make this faster, but thank you guys for bearing with me. We've got Cult Talks Conspiracy. So if you're interested in all things conspiracy, UFO, even cryptid, you can join them there and have a listen. They've got quite a number of episodes under their belt. There is also the Cult of Campbell, where we talk about Campy Campbell movies and rate them.
Bruce Campbell movies.
We rate Bruce Campbell. Yeah, Bruce Campbell.
Not the soup.
Not the soup. When we rate his performance, not the movies. So there's some good movies that are just groovy and some great movies that aren't.
That rating system gives me the shits.
It really does. And of course, there's all sorts of other stuff to find there. So check it out. We are now in Cultober. So that is a yearly celebration of all things October and spooky and Halloween. And we've been doing it. I think this is Cultober 4. So
We've officially lasted longer than most franchises should. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. So be sure to check out all the things that we are doing and have done for Cultober that involves reviewing scary movies along with special episodes and all sorts of stuff like
This is
that.
going to be a very different Cultober.
It is. Yeah, this is a very different Cultober. Yeah, that's all I got in that regard,
All right.
I think.
Thanks for that meandering exit, Eric. Until then, and so
Solid.
that's been Cult of Lore. Until next time, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And I was surprised by this one, but nobody expects the Inquisition.
Nice.